Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but we are going live to UofL, where Jeff Brohm is holding his first weekly update.
People that know him, and I think you just watch what he's done as a player to this point, and whether that's at A&M or whether that's in the spring game or whatever you can get a peek at. I think he's an athletic quarterback. He was a highly recruited quarterback who's going to Georgia Tech to play and prove himself, and he's going to, in the end, be a really good quarterback. So we've got to, find ways to get him off rhythm, make them do things they're uncomfortable with. Pressure as much as we can without giving up big plays. But without question, I do think he's a very good quarterback. And, from our research, they have a good quarterback room. So we have to be prepared for multiple guys. But definitely Haynes, has the background and the skill to get it done.
Jeff, obviously, you want to start off with kind of a non-conference game to kind of get things going. But with that being a conference game, how much of a sense of urgency does that put on you guys to get out and, obviously go 1-0?
Well, it's very important. Every conference game matters, and every game matters, really. But, you got to be prepared. Going on the road, always you have to be able to overcome things along the way. And, this will be the first time for a lot of guys playing together. So you've got to keep your focus. You got to trust your confidence, trust your preparation. You got to be confident when you take the field. You got to go out there and execute. So like I said, we've tried to put as much pressure on our guys in practice to perform in a lot of different situations. You hope that it carries over to the game in game one. You hope that you're able to adjust and adapt along the way, whether things are going good or bad. And that's what we're going to have to prove. So I think each week is an opportunity and a chance to prove yourself. And if you're not ready for the challenge, you're going to lose the football game, and that's how college football works now. So, we have to be up to the challenge and ready to play as hard as we can for 4 quarters.
Jeff, given the special circumstances with you coming back to your hometown, does this opener feel any different to you than your past 10 or so?
Well, I think so. I mean, without question, my nerves will be gone. You want to do well. You want to try to win the football game. You want to please a lot of people. You want to get off to a good start, and that's always going to be the goal. So, you have to go back and go through things and make sure you're as ready as you can be. But then you just got to go out there and play and coach and be positive with your players and build their confidence and help them achieve their best. And, each week it's different. It's funny. Sometimes you'll go in games feeling really good and it's not a great outcome. Sometimes you'll go in there really, really worried and you find a way to win. So I just think you just got to be able to use your experience and get our guys to play hard and stay focused and be tough and be smart and not do silly things that hurt us along the way as far as penalties and turnovers and, things that can't happen because, you only have so many possessions and you got to take advantage of it. And, it's an important game for us.
Openers are always, a guessing game, but this year with name, image, and likeness even more and more, and so many firsts for you and for your team, is it hard to get your arms around where you are and where everybody else is for that matter?
Well, I think we know our football team now. We've been together for a long time. Yes, there were new faces that we added this summer, but we've had a chance to be with them basically since sometime in the summer throughout fall camp. And you know what? You got to go out and play. And you have to have your starters ready, your backups ready. You got to be able to play as many guys as you can that prove that they're ready to get on the field. And you have to go let them play. And I just think that throughout the season, you're going to lose a few guys here and there. You got to be able to adapt and get the next guy ready, and hopefully he already is ready. But it's just, college football, and that's what makes it fun and exciting. Is any given day anybody can win, and the team that wants it the most and is the most hungry usually finds a way to come out in the end.
Jeff, when it comes to Jack, you've mentioned just how smart he is, how much he knows this offense, but there's another side of that. He's got to be more patient sometimes within the offense. Have you seen that from that last scrimmage kind of moving forward, heading into this opener?
Jack's done a really good job. He's got game experience. He's played a lot of football. He wants to win. I think just, with anybody, you got to get your quarterback to relax. You got to get him in a rhythm early. You got to get him feeling good about seeing things well and boosting his confidence and, get him off to a good start. And if you do that, normally ultimately things will carry over and the game will end the way you want. But you know what? Sometimes it may not happen, and you got to be able to adjust along the way. So I just think we've tried to prepare Jack as much as we can. He's got to be smart and understand that if we get in a situation where we need some big plays, he can't do it all himself. He's got to, get it to our playmakers, give the big plays a chance, but know where the outlets are and be smart, use his feet, and not turn the ball over. So I just think it's about becoming a solid, experienced quarterback, and he's battle tested, and we feel confident he'll play a good game.
Jeff,
Piggybacking off of that, looking at the offense as a whole, relative to where you guys will be at the end of the season, like how much of what percentage of the playbook do you feel comfortable, in game one with them being able to run to, your standard?
Well, we've thrown a lot at them, without question. We always want to do that, so we'll continue to push the envelope on that. When it comes to game situations, there are some base things we like to do, and we want to make sure that we're good at that, and we know the signals, we know how to execute, we know the adjustments along the way, and then you always got to throw in some wrinkles. So I just think you have to have enough in your pocket and in the holster that you're able to help your team if they're struggling, or get out of a rut if things aren't going well, and show some things that you maybe haven't shown before. But yes, seeing how they do early on and what they can handle, that's how we adjust. But I think that we've thrown a lot at them, and they've done a good job, and we want to be aggressive in our approach on both sides of the ball. And I think you have to have that fine line of, yes, everyone needs to know what they're doing and how to do it, but you've got to be aggressive and allow your guys to play and give them an opportunity to win a football game in multiple ways. So we'll definitely be smart, but also push the envelope on that.
Jeff, going into game week, do you like the health of where your team is overall, and any other additional injury news there?
I think so. I mean, like everybody, we have a few guys that won't be participating in the game, and we've tried to manage that as well as we can, and we'll be able to adjust. We'll have some more happen throughout the season, but I feel good that we've built depth at quite a few positions. Hopefully, at those positions, you'll see multiple guys in the game throughout the entire game, and if we can do that successfully, it'll make us a better football team. And but I feel good that other than a few guys here and there, we're as strong as we can be.
Jeff, some of the freshmen who have been here a little bit, maybe even since the spring, what's the percentage chance we see them on the field in game one? And does it just kind of go case by case with those guys?
Well, it'll be a situation where they're, we feel like we got some good young talent. I think freshmen, the first game, there's always a slight concern that you want to ease them in. You want to make sure that they play well and that they feel good about their game when it's over. But we have guys that can play football, so I think whether it's playing some on offense or defense and special teams, you'll see multiple guys in there. I think Stanquan Clark is a guy that has shown that he can play football. He'll be in there at certain spots. I think Adonijah Green will be in there on certain spots, and he's shown that he can play football as well. And Jamari Johnson has a chance to get in there. But at the same time, we want to be smart and go with experience and make sure that we're getting those guys in at the right situation.
Yeah, Jeff, back when you played for Coach Snellenberger, were there 2 or 3 things that he would focus in with you guys as the season started that were the most important? And are any of those things items that you stress today?
Well, we could talk a long time about that. I think Coach was great at preparing his teams to take on anybody. We practiced hard. We practiced long. We got after it in practice so that when we got to the game, it would come easy to us. So, we do that as much as we can, but you can't go overboard with that nowadays. You used to practice 3 times a day, and that was fine. But the bodies can't hold up as much as that they used to, I think. And nowadays guys prepare year round, so we try to be smart and get guys to the game healthy as much as we can. I think when it comes to us, we throw a lot at our guys. We want to be prepared. We want to have bullets ready to go. But in the end, we narrowed down to just three things as we take the field, and that's three things that we think are visible to the common fan, and we have to win in these three things, no matter what else happens, to have a chance. And that is playing harder than the other team. And to me, you can tell if a team is playing hard by watching it on TV or in person. And we got to play tougher than the other team, which means, guess what? It's not always going to go the way you want. So whether you're up by 10 or down by 21, you're still going to play hard. And that's the ability to be tough throughout the entire game and never give in and never quit. And that's visible to the common eye. And then you've got to be smarter than the other team, meaning we can't have the 15-yard penalties. We can't have the things that set us back. We can't have offsides and misalignments and false starts and things that really set you back and put you in a jam. So we have to be the smarter team. And I think if you win those three things, which that is visible to the common fan as well, if you win those three things, you're going to have a chance to win a football game. And that's what we really want to make sure as we get closer to game time, that we find a way to get that done. It's not easy because the other team's going to try to do the same thing, but you have to find a way to win in those three things.
Jeff, I know your last couple of seasons at least, you got more involved with the defense than you had been maybe earlier in your career. How involved are you with this defense, your Louisville defense?
Well, I'm involved. I think I've learned lessons along the way, and we want our team to have the personality that we want to take on, which is aggressive in our approach. We want to be in attack mode. We want to not be on our heels. And that needs to be in all three segments, offense, defense, and special teams. I feel confident in our defensive coaches and the plan they put together. We want to really just put our players in the best position to have success. And we want them to make plays and not be scared to make a mistake and, go for the sack, go for the tackle for loss, go for the interception, and really be aggressive in that approach. So I just think, it's important that whatever knowledge I have, I try to spread it to our coaches. Whatever knowledge our coaches have, we spread it to each other, and we utilize that. And I just think, we've had some good moments throughout the last few years that you try to use that experience. We've had some other moments that we've had our teeth knocked in that you try not to allow that to repeat. So that's what we have to, piece together and go out there and try to win each and every week.
How important to you is it having a past player like Mark Sander part of your coaching staff?
Well, we were fortunate to add Mark to our coaching staff this past spring. Mark was a tremendous player here and has coached football at a lot of different levels. Really, his passion for the game, his love for this university is really what makes him so successful, what he's doing now. Right now, he's working in our recruiting department. He's working with our defense. He's doing a lot of things for us. He's assisting with the linebackers. He's kind of just giving, his personal view on things, not only to coaches, but to our players, and letting them know how he did things and what he can see here and what he saw in practice and how can that help our players. So I just think it's important to have really good people that are good guys that are here just to help people have success. Mark's one of those guys. He doesn't ask for anything. He just goes to work every day and tries to help these guys prepare as much as he can. And I think to this point, he's done an outstanding job.
When people talk about your offense, they always start with passing and the receivers. You've got three really good running backs and a veteran offensive line with some pieces that you added. Do you feel really good about that and how that line has come together with those backs combined?
I do. I think our running back room has done a really good job. I think we've improved the offensive line. I think that in the end, it's about scoring points and winning football games, and how can we do that? And I do think that for your best playmakers to touch the ball as much as they can needs to be the goal. So whether that's by air or by ground, by misdirection, by play action, whatever needs to happen, those guys need to touch the ball. And I think without question, certain guys have emerged, definitely at the running back position, and they need to touch the ball. So we've got to utilize their skill and their talent, and that's going to be up to me and our offensive staff to make sure that we're keeping track and we're making sure that that happens. Sometimes you can call plays and they can be a primary option, but may not get to them. There are other times that you can make sure that the ball is in their hands, and we just have to make sure that we're conscious and observant, and those guys have the ball in their hands multiple times throughout the game.
Obviously, there's no film on Georgia Tech with the roster as it's currently constructed. But when you look at what they were able to do last year, when Brent Key did take over as the interim, what do you think maybe stood out in terms of their identity, philosophy, and what they're overall trying to accomplish?
Well, I think last year they were number 6 in the nation in turnover margin, which means that they're going to give you a lot of different looks. They're going to try to get the ball out. They're going to go for the big play, and we have to make sure that we don't allow that to happen. Nowadays with a couple of the clock rule changes, there's less possessions. So if you're giving up the ball, you're going to be in trouble. I think they want to have a sound running game and get the ball to their playmakers and keep the game close and get it in the fourth quarter and then find a way to win. So I just think, Coach Key's a former offensive lineman. He's going to work his guys hard. He's going to be tough in the trenches, and we have to find a way to gain an edge in that. And I think, anytime you go on the road, you have to be prepared for anything that can come up. And they're going to play aggressive. They're going to play to win, and they're going to play confident. So we've got to match that and figure it out and try to pull out the win at the end. Yeah. Thanks.
That bad, Tyler? Huh? Normally when somebody says living the dream, it's that's all right. There he is. Yeah. Raise your hand for questions for Brian.
Trying to go off of just kind of what Jeff was talking about with the running game. How do you guys feel like the offensive line has improved? I know you mentioned after spring that you all wanted to get more. You got more bodies. How has the line improved enough to allow you to kind of use that running game?
Yeah, we definitely feeling good about our offensive line right now. I think we got a lot of good pieces in the offseason, coupled with some guys that have been here that have played a lot of football. So we have a lot of experience up front. A lot of guys that we can rotate in there as well. We feel good about our depth at that position. So that's definitely something we're going to have to utilize is the run game. And those guys have shown a good job of blocking up the run game. And we definitely have some running backs that we feel confident in handling the ball to.
Given the lifelong lessons and teachings your father, Oscar, has given you and your brothers, how do you incorporate that in your teachings and coaching?
Obviously my dad was obviously the first coach that we all had. He coached us growing up in basically all sports. So he was a big influence on us, not only playing sports, but then helping us achieve a lot of the things that we did throughout sports. So you take what you've learned as a child, coupled with the things you learn along the way from other coaches, and use all that when you're trying to formulate how you want to coach up your guys. So definitely that's the first impact that probably we all had was our dad coaching us up.
Yeah, Brian, when you guys do the game plan, do you formulate it with Jeff, or he signs off on what you do, and then as the game unfolds, are you calling plays and he says yes, no, and vetoes it, or how does it work?
Yeah, so we as an entire offensive staff, we sit together and we start to formulate the game plan. Jeff, obviously, he's the head coach. He has a lot of different responsibilities, but he's in there as much as he can be with us, formulating that game plan and putting all the scripts together. And he's as involved as he can be. There's times where he might step out and he go sit with the defense, or he might step out and go with the special teams coach, or he might have to go do media. Whenever he does that, then I'll take over the room and we'll get the work done that needs to be done and kind of fill him in when he pops back in the room. But on game day, Jeff is calling the plays. I'll be in his ear, giving him suggestions and taking him through a lot of the scenarios or what I think might be good in certain situations. But he's the one that is calling it on game day.
In terms of Jack's presence with his teammates, what have you kind of seen over fall camp and these last what he did right with it.
Yeah, I think Jack has a really good rapport with the offense and with the team in general. I think it helped when he got here that he was basically the only one that knew the offense, so he was able to have a lot of player meetings without coaches in there, and he was the guy kind of up front leading the charge and teaching those guys kind of what we were looking for and what we were trying to do. And that's carried over here into fall camp where. He's almost like another coach on the field for us. He knows the offense so well. He's been involved with our offense for a long time, and he's able to correct guys if they have made some mistakes on the field. And I like to let him do that. I think that shows leadership, and guys respect that when he can step in and give them the correct information and kind of coach them up. You want that from your quarterback, and he's able to do that.
How's Jack different from when you guys had him at Purdue as a player or just as a person?
He's just older, more mature. He's been through a lot more. He was always very intelligent, very smart, understood the offense. So he's probably the fastest freshman I ever had at picking up the offense. He was really good right away. But he's just been through a lot more situations and seen a lot more. He's able to calm his emotions a little bit more than when he was younger. He can see it from different perspectives. So I think he's just more mature. That's what you get with the young adult from 18 to 22. They mature a lot in those years.
Brian, when it comes to your wide receivers, I think one of the things that Jeff has said is when they feel like they have a grasp of the play or the offense, they're playing fast, they're making plays. But when they're not, there's some struggles there. Where are they at right now? Do you guys feel like they've got a good?
Yeah, I mean that's everybody. That's everybody. If you know what you're doing and you're confident about it, you're going to attack it with more veracity and more velocity. If you're unsure, you're going to have that little hesitation step. So, that's what spring ball, the off season with fall camp. That's been about getting them indoctrinated in the offense so that they feel that comfort level when the play's called, that they can go full speed, have no second guessing. And they've done a good job of really picking it up. And, now it's time you try to trim it down, kind of get them to focus on, hey, this is what we're going to be specifically doing this week, as opposed to kind of fall camp and summertime was, hey, this is the whole playbook. We're going to call whatever. You need to know it. So now they can hone in a little bit more on exactly what the game plan is going to look like.
Brian, how much different is it going into game one here at the alma mater? Is it different? Is there any kind of difference in emotions?
It hasn't felt different so far. It's what we've been doing for a long time, getting ready for football games and training the off season and getting ready for the season. Now, once that kickoff of game one happens, I mean, it might feel a little bit different now that it's back at the alma mater, and we're always wanting to win badly, and you even want it that much more because of that situation. But it's felt like the normal off season. We're getting ready for football. Here we go. We're excited for game one. I think it's felt that way every year.
Going back to the receivers, Brian, Jamari Thrash, is there a comparable player, not necessarily talent-wise, but just with how you used him, that you see him kind of filling that kind of role?
Yeah, so he plays. He kind of plays the Z position, which David Bell was in, which Charlie Jones was in. He's in that type of role, that type of position right now.
Brian, I think you've always been in the booth. Is that correct? You've always been upstairs during game day,
except for the two that I called when.
Right. Exactly. Do you like that position, and kind of talk about what the interaction you and Jeff have during games on the headsets and your kind of being the view you have up there?
Yeah, definitely the eye in the sky. Everyone needs one of those, and I provide that for Jeff of being able to see things from up top. You get more of the full picture. You can see the full defensive outlay when you're on the field. Sometimes things can get a little bit more jumbled up because you're so close. But just being able to be up top, tell him exactly what is going on, where guys are playing on defense, what we can do to expose them, and really confirm or basically deny kind of what he thought he saw on the field as we go through it. And him having someone up there that he can trust is going to give him the correct information and good information, I think is very beneficial. So we have a lot of good discussion between series about what the defense is doing, what we need to be doing on offense, how we're going to attack them coming out. And that relationship has worked pretty well so far. All right. Thank you.
I put it on there. That's who last year's.
You have a question for Coach English, raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you.
Hey, Coach, this defense lost a lot of sack production from last year with Yasir Abdullah and Yaya Diaby. How high are your expectations for Ashton Gelati this year to pick up some of that?
Well, I thought those guys were great players, and more than that, I thought they were great people. I got a chance to be around them, and you can't get two better people than that. So we all have high expectations for Ashton. We think he's going to be a great player for us. He needs to continue to develop. I think he's with one of the best, if not the best, defensive line coaches in the country. So we expect him to play well.
Ron, when we talked to you a couple of weeks ago, you talked about building the depth and still in the middle of fall camp to do that. Do you feel confident going into game week that you've built the depth that you need at some positions to kind of rotate guys? And how do you manage that now in a game?
I do feel like that. And we just go in with a plan. You have to go in with a plan to play these guys, and you have to believe in them enough to play them. And regardless of the situation, sometimes you got to put guys in. And I just learned that in the really with Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen, taught me that in the SEC. I mean, you're not going to get to October, November, December effectively without playing players. So we're committed to that.
Kind of bouncing off that, with MJ Griffin going out, he's trying to have a pretty big role with this defense. What's it been like filling that gap the past couple of weeks?
Well, it's a shame because MJ, I thought, was developing to an outstanding player, both on and off the field, in the sense of his study and work habits, his attention to detail, his desire to be a great player. But, MJ was a piece of a puzzle, and so we have other pieces, and we're developing those pieces, and we're going to continue to develop. And this is not a 1 week or 1 month, but it's a year-long deal.
Yeah, Ron, I mean, you had spring ball, you have this fall camp, but this is opening night, first time the lights are on, playing a different team. Are there one or two questions you have in your mind that you're anxious to have answered about your guys?
I'm excited to see them play. I think they're going to play really, really hard. I think they bought into everything we're asking them to do. I think with any group of people, whether it be coaches or trainers or players, it's when you get uncomfortable and when you feel pressure and when circumstances strike, how do you respond? And so that's what we want to train them to do. We want to train them to respond properly to adversity. In fact, I'm going to meet with them today, and that's what that meeting is going to be about mental toughness, which is really basically the ability to withstand without tearing or breaking. So, that's what I want to see where we are at that in terms of that.
Ron, when you look at Georgia Tech, what do you see from their offense? And more importantly, I guess, or as a side note, their quarterback, their transfer quarterback, what kind of challenges he present?
Well, their offense is they're going to run the ball and they're going to run gap schemes and they're going to bring pullers. And but this is what struck me about Georgia Tech, particularly towards the end of the year. They don't quit. They come back on North Carolina. They're down by 2 possessions, I believe, North Carolina. They come back on Virginia Tech. They're down by 2 possessions. So you're playing a team that, to me, that shows character. So you're going to have to understand you're playing a team that has some character, number one. Number two, this quarterback, after I watched him, I said, Jeff, I like the quarterback. I mean, I think he can throw the ball, and I think he is not afraid. And he said, no, we wanted him. We recruited him, and we came down to the end with him. So you're talking about a guy who can run, I think, a little bit. He's got some toughness. He'll stand in there in the pocket, and I think he can throw. I think he can throw the football. So it'll be a challenge for our defense.
Going back to MJ Griffin, you talked about trying to develop the depth there and sort of that next man up mentality. How have the guys in the secondary and specifically in that safety room kind of rallied around MJ to try and pick up the slack for losing him?
Well, they all want to play, and they all think they're better than we think they are. You know how that goes. I mean, these guys think they're a lot better than we think they are. So I think they're just like, not in a negative way, but they're like, I get my shot. So, I mean, I don't worry about that part. It's just, I coach every guy. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I coach every player. I don't see, for example, walk-ons as opposed to scholarships. When I was at Arizona State, we had Adam Archuleta, first-round pick, started for the Rams in the Super Bowl as a rookie. He was a walk-on. All right. We had a offensive lineman, same thing. Started for Cincinnati, first-round pick, walk-on. So I coach every guy. I like coaching, so I coach every guy.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned mental toughness a couple of times. How important to you and your coaching philosophy is mental health and instilling pressure being a privilege to your play?
You know what? The pressure being a privilege, that is true. That is true. Expectations are a privilege. So all that is true, and people say that, but it really is a fact. In terms of the mental health, I'm not an expert on mental health, but I do think that a positive mental outlook and being happy and enjoying what you're doing, you're only going to do it better. So what I try to do is build relationships. And then, therefore, I can see if a guy's having a bad day or a bad month or something's bothering him or whatever. So that's how I try to be involved in the sense of being able to read a guy. And if he's having, particularly freshmen. So I got a kid, he's a freshman at Navy, my son, and he, I talked to him a couple weeks ago. He didn't quite sound the same. He sounded a little bit down and all that stuff. And then I talked to him yesterday, and he sounded like a different guy. So to me, that's how you can help these young men as a mentor, as a coach, is just being able to feel when they are not quite right.
Ron, what's that competition at linebacker been like? It's the one position where people, you lost a lot, didn't have a ton of experience. You brought some guys in.
Yeah.
TJ had a great spring, and it seems like he had a really good fall. What's the competition been like, and how has he progressed?
Well, they all are progressing. I think they're all going to continue to get better as it goes. Coach Ivey puts a lot of pressure on himself to perform and put some expectations on those guys to perform. They're getting better and better. I'm not, you know what? I feel good about them. I do. I feel good that they're going to get better and better. I love the coaches that are coaching them. The coaches care, and they're detailed, and they're trying to please me, and they're trying to please Coach Brohm, and they're trying to help their players. So I feel good about that room.
Kind of building off of that, do you think there's an expectation that maybe TJ Capers gets involved at some point this season, or are you guys still kind of playing it by ear with his injury?
Well, we got to get him healthy first. We got to get him healthy first, and then we got to be able to see what he is at this level. At the level he came from, I thought he was outstanding. He's a big guy who can run now and will strike you. So we just need to see, how does he learn? You know what I mean? How does he process information? Can he show up every day? Those type of things. Thank you.
guess the first question is, did you decide to get rid of something there? What went behind that thought?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you?
I mean, some change it up. I mean, I didn't want to be kind of known as the mustache guy, but I don't know. I've always kind of been a clean shave guy, so we'll see.
Jack, how has fall camp, now that it's over, you're in game week, how do you feel like not just you but this offense has progressed and come together?
Yeah, I think we've made some strides just as, we get more reps as a team and, as a unit together, and just ironing out the little details, obviously, running the plays and guys figuring out, hey, this is what I need to do on this play, and if I get this look and all that good stuff. So just getting all the good reps has been great for us this camp.
Jack, so many of the players and coaches have talked about how your comfortability in this offense has kind of helped them get more and more comfortable. Do you feel that kind of radiate off you and getting guys ready for week one?
Yeah, I think so. Just being able to talk to my teammates and have them ask me questions and me be able to give them a firm answer where there's kind of no gray area, and me being able to communicate with them when maybe their coach is coaching a position group and we're in between reps or something, and they can ask me a quick question. So I think it has been good, and for quarterbacks, wide receivers especially.
Jack, how would you describe this receiver group between Jamari, Kevin, and the rest of them? Like, what immediately jumps out about them heading into week one?
Yeah, they have the potential to make a big play. I mean, no matter what, if you're throwing the ball quick and make a guy miss, or as well as catching the deep ball downfield. So I think we got guys that are talented and, can make explosive plays for us.
Jack, Coach Brohm has kind of said a couple times that, like, he tells you, hey, trust your other teammates. You don't have to feel like you have to do it all or force anything in there. Just how important is that now that you're getting ready to go another opponent to start the season?
Yeah, obviously that's a huge thing, just being able to rely on my teammates to make plays and trust them, and knowing that just give them a chance to go catch the ball, especially at wideout. Just, hey, those guys are talented, so like put it in a spot where they at least got a chance to go make a play for us, and not having to make a perfect throw and then you end up missing it.
Jack, back here, you'll be facing your third different conference. What about Big Ten, Pac-10? After seeing that, what kind of things do you see about the ACC that you anticipate going against defenses?
Yeah, obviously, each conference I feel like has a little bit of a different style. The Big Ten really big on the run defense, and they're more kind of, we're going to run our stuff and we're going to run it well. Pac-12 had some quicker guys out there, and they did some different things. But as far as the ACC stuff, right now my focus is on Georgia Tech, so I haven't necessarily sat down and watched every team in the ACC on defense yet. I'm kind of saving that for when we play them, so it's fresh in my mind. But just Georgia Tech's defense, they're a solid group. They do what they do well, and they mix it up a good amount as well.
Jack, you played for Jeff before, so there's obvious that you have trust with him. How important to you is having trust within your head coach?
Yeah, I think that's important for the quarterback, just to trust the head coach, and with him calling the plays and being able to trust that he's going to put us in a good position to win the game, and take the time to be upstairs and study the opponent and come up with good schemes for us.
Yeah. Some schools haven't named a quarterback yet. Some waited till last week and named one. Jeff identified you a long time ago. He's been very outspoken about how much trust he has in you and how he wants you to have a big year. What does that do for you as the season begins?
Yeah, I think that's big for me, just knowing that coach has the confidence in me and to get the job done and lead this university to where we want to go. So I think that's, when you're playing confident, you always feel a little bit better out there on the field. So just having that and then being able to be around the guys and be able to, play that role of the starter with other guys in the offense.
Jack, obviously the goal for everybody is, well, most people, most college football players, is to get to the NFL. But to start, the season in an NFL stadium, how does that just add to the excitement of, that first game, and how do you kind of control your emotions in that moment?
Yeah, I think I haven't thought about it too much. Obviously, it's cool to be able to play in the Falcon Stadium. It's going to be a good atmosphere for us, but I haven't really, I don't try to look too much into the venue we're playing at. I've played in some cool places, but ultimately I'm just, trying to go out there and do my job and just lead the guys and make throws for us to win the game. Thank you, guys.
I'll just sit down. Yeah. All right. This
Ashton, Coach English kind of just mentioned that this Georgia Tech team is going to be one that runs the ball a lot. They got guys like Dante Smith, Trey Cooley in that backfield. What's it been like kind of prepping for a team that's got a running back committee like that?
Yeah. Obviously, we know they have a lot of good depth. They have a lot of great backs. So I think definitely emphasizing stopping the run game is going to be a priority. I mean, we want passing scenarios. So the emphasis has been on trying to figure how to contain it, get them to pass the ball and force it to third down. So, I mean, that's how our prep's been. So we're just going to continue to prep that way.
Yeah. Yaya, Yasir, Momo, Monty Montgomery are all gone. They were big time playmakers last year. Who do you see rising up to fill in those spots, and how do you guys overcome the loss of that much talent?
I definitely think we have, especially on D-line, we have a lot of up and coming. We have a lot of young people, but Stephen Herron, that's a name that's been tossed around. He's obviously stepping up, taking up that role. We have a lot of good backers. Our DBs are productive, whether it's blitz, PBUs, they're all over the field. So we have a lot of good people to look at. I don't know if I would give you people in specific that you don't already know, but I'd just say watch us, basically.
The defensive scheme this year, I guess, is different from last year, but as for you personally with your position and your responsibilities, has it changed much?
Obviously, I'm more of on an edge now this year. Difference in front from 3 to 4. I have more edge responsibility, more edge rushing. Last year, I was a lot of interior. That's just how it worked out. So I think in terms of role, having the flexibility to potentially drop out, rush quarterback from various positions, I think that's something this defense has allowed me to do and expand upon. So,
Ashton, I know you've already talked about their running backs a little bit, but one of their running backs is Travion Cooley, a guy you know a little bit something about. What's that going to be like going against him?
What's that like? I definitely think it's going to be, to me, that's a cool experience. I know that people might not think so, but I mean, you go against him in practice, so you kind of know how it's like to play against him. But I think being able to meet him on the field would be something that I look forward to. So just really excited for that.
Ashton, do you think there's anything that's going to surprise people about this defense, or something that maybe people aren't talking about enough that you think is a strength?
Let me think. What are people talking about? I gotta think about that. I mean, I would really say our DBs. I mean, people usually talk about the D front. I think the DBs don't get as much love as they should. We've got a lot of good DBs, a lot of returning talent. We got a lot of new talent. So it's kind of hard to see from the outside how they fit in. But I mean, from just watching it, they're playmakers. They're going to be all around the ball. They're going to give us more time to rush, stuff like that. I mean, I just feel like they don't get the love they deserve. So that's a group to look out for.
Ashton, a lot of people have talked about the linebacker position. How have you seen TJ Quinn kind of emerge as a guy who in the spring game made a ton of plays and now has some a little bit of experience?
No, I mean I love TJ. TJ's a quiet type, but I think he's definitely stepped more into that role, like understanding what the playbook is, how he fits into it, how to give us calls and stuff like that. I think just being able to get game experience is really that's really all he needs. He's a great player. He's strong. He's fast. He's talented. So I'm looking forward to playing on the field with him. So
how do you incorporate being from Florida and your upbringing into your playing?
I think a big thing in Florida is speed, and that's something like I try to emphasize in my game. You don't really get breaks in Florida when you play football, so trying to be relentless, trying to be always around the ball, just trying to like being relentless, having a high motor. That I feel like that's something that I would incorporate, and that's what I try to do every time I'm on the field. So.
Ashton, you guys have been working a lot for game week. It's been a long time since the final game. When game week finally does arrive, does it feel a little different when the alarm clock goes off? Or, I mean, is it different around the football complex?
You can definitely feel the air is a lot different. I mean, we're prepping for it every week, but I definitely think there's a sense of urgency, as my coach would say, from all the guys. So, I mean, we're really tuned up this week. We're looking forward to it just to go down, give people a show. Thank you.